Hey guys, this is Maurice from Maurice and CAROLYN. We're popping through life where we talk about camping and pop-up camper tips, travel, as well as new adventures. So if there's something that interests you, please definitely consider liking, subscribing, and hit the notification bell so that way you get updated with all of our content. So today, as you can see, we're going to talk about pop-up camping and camping accessories. This is something that I have found that I feel that we're going to need as we begin our pop-up camper journey. We begin this upcoming weekend, actually leaving tomorrow for our first pop-up camping trip. So stay tuned for those videos as well. But today I want to talk about some comfort items that you can put on or in your pop-up camper to add some high level of comfort when it comes time to begin your pop-up adventure. So first thing I want to talk about is the water. So with the water source, when you get to a pop-up camping place, what you're going to do is you are going to plug into a power and a water station. So when it comes to the water, I do recommend having a 25-foot. What is it next to you, Dave? Come on, put the water.
I was going to try to sneak behind you and smile.
So what I've asked as far as a few people is what is the length of hose that you need, and they said that 25 feet should do it. So what we went and purchased was a Camco drinking water hose that is 25 feet long, and it's supposed to make your drinking water more safe and tolerable for the pop-up camper. To add to that, for a little extra comfort, we also purchased the RV and marine water filter. So what happens is you take the filter, you go ahead and plug in your inlet here, you run it for a little bit, and then you go ahead and hook it to your gray water or your city water inlet on the side of the pop-up camper. We do decide on using a Brita filter, of course, but for brushing teeth and other different items and things that I have to do, what we have to do inside the pop-up is definitely going to make a world of difference in regards to the quality of the water. This is also going to be something that we use whenever we do go boondocking and we don't have any hookups. We just want to go out and about with no hookups. We can use these items to sanitize and fill our freshwater tank to take with us, so that way we have some clean drinking water being pumped up into the pop-up camper. Also, something else that we purchased was the Camco RV water pressure regulator. So while you're at home and you realize that, hey, you need to turn on the water hose, as you turn it on, you can dictate how much, water or pressure is coming through your water hose. When you plug in at a campground, that's not necessarily always the case. From what I hear, as soon as you turn it on, some has a blast worth of, pressure, some doesn't have a lot. So we purchased this in order to regulate how much pressure from the line is going to be coming into our freshwater tank, freshwater hose rather, and then through the filter and then into it. I definitely don't want any blowouts or to burst any of the water lines inside of the pop-up to create a large mess. So that's something definitely to consider. The next is going to be a Y valve. So we do plan on being at the beach, but also if you like fishing and you like other items as far as for outdoors, you don't want to continuously go to any of the wash-off stations or anything like that. So we have a separate hose that we're going to have run. This is going to plug up at the actual water inlet area. We're going to have the pressure regulator off of one as far as going into the pop-up, and then we're going to have another hose going to the front of the pop-up so that way we can wash off our feet, spray off any fish, fill any pots for boiling, whatever we need to do on the outside as far as the front. So that takes care of the water and inlet items there. All right, so the next we're going to talk about some other safety and comfort areas as far as accessories for your pop-up. So the next thing is going to be a smoke, fire, and carbon dioxide alarm. I highly recommend that you get one that is smoke, fire, and carbon monoxide, because if you're running gas, if you're at a campground, if you're cooking, things of that nature, there's always potential for a hazard. Majority of pop-ups have a fire extinguisher, which is great, but this also gives you peace of mind. It eliminates all of the false readings that you may have in reference to other items. and then overall it helps you sleep better. I'm definitely going to install this as soon as we get there in the specified place based on the instructions as far as what it tells us to do. But like I said, this is a 3-in-1 smoke and fire and carbon monoxide alarm. And any of these items that I'm going to give you guys today, I'm going to put a description below, so that way you can go and purchase these at your leisure if you like. All right, the next piece that I would say should be a awesome accessory for you to purchase is going to be LED bulbs. So I purchased these LED bulbs off of Amazon. These are 12-volt light bulbs. So I'm not sure if you can see these or not. Maybe, but it's a 12 pack, and you just replace out your current light bulbs with this. This is going to help conserve energy. As far as your pop-up, it's going to add a brighter look to it other than the old dull kind of yellow incandescent bulbs that are in there currently. And I ultimately like the look and the feel that it gives, especially if you're thinking about upgrading or updating and glamping out your pop-up camper. All right, the next one that I want to recommend that you get is going to be a power adapter. Now, most plug-in stations that you go to a pop-up campgrounds are going to have a 50 and a 30 amp possibly, but sometimes they're going to end up having just a household inlet. So this side here is for 30. You'll plug in your pop-up on this end, and then of course plug this in as well. This also helps at home if you need to plug in for a short period of time. Make sure things work, update any electrical pieces. You need to flip a switch, don't want to run your battery and things of that nature. You can utilize this part as well. All right. Next is going to be fuses. This fuse pack here, I purchased off of Amazon as well. And it's just because it has a multitude of all the fuses that you may need for anything that blows inside of your pop-up or your RV. So you never want to be stuck with needing to have you having a blown fuse, and you need to go to some type of Lowe's, Home Depot, any type of department store or RV store just to get bulbs in the middle of the night or early morning when you should be out enjoying your family. So always have these on hand and also put them inside of your toolbox as well. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is D-rings or carabiners and utility cord. Now with this, I have seen a lot of comments in a Facebook group and a lot of concerns online with different pop-up groups with people's parents having fears that the children are going to roll on the sides of the pop-up camper and fall out because of the ties that go underneath. What I plan on doing is utilizing this utility cord to go ahead and tie them to the existing bunk ends as far as on the sides, bringing them to the middle, and then looping them through each of these D-rings here. That's going to add another level of security so that my kiddos who are 9 and 5 don't roll out on the side, but I highly recommend getting this. You also will need a carabiner if you have a breakaway hitch, which I'm going to talk about next, in reference to attaching that to your actual tow vehicle. Next thing you're going to need is a power tap. If you're like us and you have pop-up camper plugs or outlets on the outside of your pop-up, sometimes you only have one, possibly two, but you want to run another fridge, you want to run a power cord, maybe to have movie night outside and things of that nature. So it's always good to have an industrial outdoor plug in order for you to be able to use that. All right. Next is going to be a level. You're going to need a level inside the doorway of your pop-up, as well as outside if you end up screwing it to the outside to know when your pop-up camper is level. Next is probably going to be the two biggest items that we're going to talk about in regards to comfort and accessories with the pop-up camper, and that's going to be the security piece. So this is a Pro Class automatic chrome coupler lock. This fits a 1 7/8, 2-inch, and 2 5/16 couplers. So this coupler is going to keep your pop-up camper secure, and overall just make sure that nobody walks away or drives away with your pop-up camper. So I highly recommend that you get one of these unless you're going to have your vehicle in front of your pop-up the entire time that you're there. This definitely adds a level of comfort. Last accessory that I will recommend for you, which I think is probably going to be the most important overall, is a trailer breakaway system. Now with the trailer breakaway system, this gives you a battery. It gives you the breakaway switch, which ties to your tow vehicle. So if you have electric brakes like my pop-up does, if that disengages from the actual breakaway switch, if your camper begins to fall, it will activate the electric brakes and bring your camper to a slow but steady halt if you're driving down the highway, instead of it, just pulling and just bouncing around, causing a massive, accident, car pile up or anything of that nature. So with this, it comes with the Breakaway battery that charges 12 volt once it's plugged into your tow vehicle. It comes with the Breakaway switch itself, and actually has a pretty good diagram on the back. This literally took less than 15 minutes to install onto the front of my pop-up camper trailer. Super easy to install. To hit the press to test button to make sure that the battery is actually functioning, everything is plugged in the right way. So that definitely helps out as far as here. All right, guys. So I know that I, kind of blew through all of that. This is no shape or form the go-to for anyone as far as the gold standard, but this is just definitely something that we feel comfortable with in regards to taking our first trip. So you can add and take away from this as much as possible. So just to recap, we have the Hopkins Towing Solutions Trailer Breakaway System. We have the Pro Class Coupler Link. That's our coupler lock. We have the D-ring or carabiner with utility cord. We have the multi-pack for fuses. We have the Prime Power Tap outdoor rated extension plug. We have our power cord adapters for the pop-up. We have our 12 volt light bulbs. We have our levels, any level. We have our 3-in-1 smoke, fire, and carbon monoxide alarm and detector. And for our water pressure regulator with the Y valve. We have our water filter. And we have the drinking water hose at 25 feet. Alright guys, I really hope that this has been an inspiration and a help to all of you who are beginning or continuing on in your pop-up camper journey. Definitely leave a comment below. What have you seen or what have you experienced as a must-have in your pop-up camper, something that you cannot travel without? And then also, what is something that you needed and you possibly left at home? I'd love to know. Leave a comment below so that way we can interact and definitely get a conversation going. Once again, this is Maurice with Maurice and CAROLYN. We're popping through life, and definitely appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, see you later.